The most dangerous evil is the one that looks completely ordinary. It smiles, it listens, it blends in, and it waits. Most people feel the presence of someone like this long before they understand it. It shows up as a tightness in the chest, a shift in the room's energy, a quiet voice inside whispering, "Pay attention." But we silence that voice because we don't want to seem paranoid or unfair. And in America especially, we're encouraged to stay polite, stay calm, and give everyone the benefit of the doubt, even when our instincts are screaming. Stoic philosophy teaches that danger becomes powerful when we refuse to see it. Your intuition is not fear, it's wisdom. It warns you long before your mind can explain why. And once you learn the patterns, the mask falls quickly. Today, you'll discover 10 evident signs that someone near you is far darker than they pretend to be. 1. Manipulation. Disguised as kindness, evil rarely shows up with cruelty. It shows up with kindness that feels just a little too perfect. Kindness that feels rehearsed. Kindness that feels expensive. This type of person doesn't push their way into your life. They ease into it. They watch what you need, what you struggle with, what you wish someone would notice, and then they offer exactly that. But not because they care, because your needs are the doorway to your vulnerability. And vulnerability is what they're really after. At first, it feels flattering. Most Americans are raised to appreciate helpfulness, so when someone steps in like a hero, it feels comforting. But real heroism doesn't demand a reward, and real kindness doesn't trap you in silent debt. Manipulative kindness always has a hidden invoice attached. You just don't see it until later. A common pattern is this. They insist on helping you, fixing something, running an errand, giving advice, solving your problems. But when you try to say, "No, thank you," the temperature changes instantly. Their face tightens, their tone shifts. Suddenly you're ungrateful, cold, or taking advantage of them. Their meltdown reveals what their kindness was really built on. Control, not care. Stoic philosophy warns us about these masks. Marcus Aurelius wrote that a person's true nature is revealed through repeated actions, not isolated gestures. Someone who is genuinely kind stays kind even when you decline their help. Someone who is manipulative cannot tolerate a boundary, because boundaries block their access to your mind. So here's the simplest way to recognize this sign. Real kindness makes you feel safe. Manipulative kindness makes you feel obligated. If their help weighs on your chest more than it lifts you, trust that feeling. Stoic protocol. Pause. Don't rush to accept favors. Probe. Ask why their kindness feels heavy. Protect. Set a calm boundary. I appreciate it, but I've got it handled. Because kindness that demands obedience isn't kindness at all. 2. They study your weaknesses. Quietly. Evil doesn't just watch you. It analyzes you. It memorizes you. It treats your personality like a map leading straight to your vulnerabilities. This person doesn't ask many questions, not directly. They observe the way you react when someone interrupts you, how your voice changes when you talk about your fears, what topics make you nervous, and who you trust the most. They notice your insecurities, your soft spots, your stress triggers, even your silence. To them, you are not a human being. You are data, and data is something they can use. At first, it feels like they're just a good listener, someone who pays attention, someone who cares enough to remember details others overlook. But genuine attention feels comforting. Manipulative attention feels intrusive, like someone mentally taking notes you never gave them permission to write. Here's the subtle pattern. They never reveal much about themselves. Yet they know everything about you. They encourage you to talk, to open up, to vent, to confess. But when it's their turn, they stay vague. distant, guarded. This imbalance is intentional. The less you know about them, the more power they hold. A common example: they notice when you're insecure about your job or body, and later, during a conflict, they weaponize those exact insecurities. They don't guess your weakness. They harvest it. And once someone knows what hurts you, they control you without raising their voice. Stoic philosophy teaches a simple truth: protect your inner life the way you'd protect a locked door. What you give freely, others can use freely, for good or for harm. Stoic protocol: pause. Share slowly, not impulsively. Probe. Notice who listens but never reveals. Protect. Keep your emotional center private until trust is proven, because anyone who studies your weaknesses is planning to use them. 3. They lie without blinking. Some people lie because they're scared. Evil people lie because they don't care, and the difference becomes clear the moment you look into their eyes. A normal person stumbles when they lie. Their voice cracks, their breathing shifts, their story wavers. But someone with a darker nature lies with a calmness that feels unnatural. Their tone stays steady, their facial expression stays neutral, and their confidence never wavers. They don't rush their words. They don't avoid eye contact. They don't second-guess the lie. They deliver falsehoods with the same ease others use to speak the truth. And here's what makes it so dangerous: they don't lie only when cornered. They lie casually, unnecessarily, even when the truth would have worked just fine. They lie to shape perception, to maintain control, and to keep you off balance. You start doubting your memory, your timeline, and eventually your own judgment. That confusion is their goal, not a side effect. A common example: you confront them about something small, a promise they broke, a story that doesn't add up, a message they clearly ignored. Instead of acknowledging reality, they create a new one. You misunderstood. That never happened. You're overreacting. Then they say it with such certainty that you feel pressured to question yourself instead of questioning them. Stoic philosophy warns us: truth is steady, deception is restless. A person who honors truth will correct a mistake. A person who worships control will rewrite the entire narrative just to avoid accountability. So pay attention, not just to the lie, but to the comfort behind it. Comfort reveals intent, and intent reveals character. Stoic protocol: pause. Step back from their performance. Probe. Compare their words to consistent reality, not to your emotions. Protect. Trust patterns over promises. And distance yourself when truth becomes optional. Because someone who lies without blinking will harm without hesitation. 4. Zero empathy. Your pain doesn't register. Some people hear your pain, some people feel your pain, and some people don't recognize your pain at all, because empathy simply does not exist in them. A person with zero empathy doesn't react to your sadness, stress, or exhaustion the way a normal person would. They don't soften, they don't lean in, and they don't adjust their behavior out of respect for what you're going through. Your suffering is nothing more than background noise to them, a minor inconvenience, not a human experience. And when someone feels nothing for you, they also feel nothing about hurting you. Indifference is their shield, and your emotion is irrelevant. At first, you might rationalize it. Maybe they're tired. Maybe they're distracted. Maybe they don't know what to say. But with time, you'll notice a pattern. Your joy doesn't excite them, your pain doesn't move them, and your vulnerability doesn't reach them. A common example: you open up about something difficult, losing a job, losing a loved one, or even just having a rough day. Instead of responding with care, they shrug, redirect the conversation, or immediately turn it back to themselves. And the more you share, the colder they become, as if emotion itself is something they're allergic to. This isn't lack of social skill, it's lack of humanity. Stoic philosophy reminds us, you cannot expect warmth from a cold source. Marcus Aurelius wrote that some people simply cannot offer what they do not possess. And emotional depth is one of those things. When someone shows you emotional emptiness consistently, believe it. Stoic protocol. Pause. Stop expecting emotional reciprocity. Probe. Notice how they respond when you're vulnerable. Protect. Keep your emotional core away from people who feel nothing for it. Because a person who cannot feel your pain will never care if they cause it. 5. Blame shifting and gaslighting. Evil doesn't deny responsibility. It transfers it. It turns its wrongdoing into your guilt. It rewrites the story until you question your own reality. Gaslighting is not just lying. It's strategic emotional distortion. The person twists events, shifts timelines, and manipulates your interpretation until you start doubting what you saw, what you felt, and even who you are. Their goal isn't to win an argument. Their goal is to make you lose faith in your own mind. And once you no longer trust your judgment, they control the entire relationship. This is psychological warfare delivered with a calm voice. At first, the confusion feels innocent. You think maybe you remembered wrong, maybe you overreacted, maybe you misunderstood. But the more they speak, the more disconnected you feel from your own truth. They weaponize phrases like, "You're imagining things," "That never happened," "You're too sensitive," or "You always twist everything." Each sentence is designed to undermine your confidence. A common example, they break a promise, hurt your feelings, or violate a boundary. But instead of acknowledging what happened, they flip the conversation. Suddenly, you become the problem. You become the one who started it. You become the one who must apologize. And in that moment, they successfully escape accountability by pushing the entire emotional burden onto you. Stoic philosophy warns us, clarity is your greatest defense. Epictetus taught that you cannot control what others say, but you must guard how you interpret it. Gaslighters fear one thing above all, a person who trusts their own perception. Stoic protocol. Pause. Don't argue inside their confusion. Probe. Write down what actually happened before speaking. Protect. Stand firm in your memory. And distance yourself when reality becomes a negotiation. Because anyone who needs you to doubt yourself is already harming you. 6. They slowly isolate you from everyone else. Evil never isolates you all at once. It isolates you one concern, one suggestion, one innocent comment at a time. Not to protect you, but to control you. This type of person doesn't tell you to cut people off directly. They start by planting small seeds of doubt. Are you sure he's a real friend? I don't think she likes you as much as you think. I just want what's best for you. Each remark seems harmless, even caring, but together they form a strategy. Weaken your support system until they become the only voice you listen to. And here's the subtle danger. They rarely attack your loved ones outright. Instead, they point out flaws, exaggerate issues, or reinterpret innocent behavior as suspicious. You begin to second-guess the people who have always stood by you. And once trust cracks, connection fades. A common example, they get irritated when you spend time with friends, guilt-trip you for talking to family, or question every relationship that doesn't involve them. Soon, you find yourself canceling plans, avoiding calls, or feeling anxious about how they'll react if someone else needs your attention. This isn't love. It's confinement disguised as care. Stoic philosophy teaches that freedom is the foundation of peace. Marcus Aurelius warned that anything restricting your independence corrupts your character and steals your clarity. When someone isolates you, they aren't protecting you. They're shrinking your world so they can dominate it. So pay attention to this pattern. Anyone who reduces your connections reduces your strength. Anyone who limits your support limits your judgment. Isolation is not affection, it's strategy. Stoic protocol. Pause. Notice when someone reacts negatively to your other relationships. Probe. Ask yourself who you were close to before they entered your life. Protect. Rebuild your circle and guard it fiercely. Because the person who wants you alone never wants you empowered. 7. They enjoy your discomfort. Quietly, subtly, secretly. Some people feel bad when you struggle. Some feel nothing at all, but the darkest ones feel a tiny spark of satisfaction when you're hurting. This type of person doesn't laugh out loud at your pain. That would be too obvious. Instead, they react with a flicker of pleasure so subtle you almost doubt you saw it. A quick smirk, a lifted eyebrow, a moment where their eyes light up in the wrong way. It's the kind of reaction your instincts pick up before your mind can explain it. At first, you write it off as coincidence. Maybe they didn't understand the seriousness of what you shared. Maybe they were distracted. Maybe you're reading too much into it. But over time, the pattern becomes undeniable. Whenever you are stressed, embarrassed, insecure, or rejected, they become strangely energized. A common example. You share that something went wrong at work. Instead of empathy, they lean in with curiosity, not compassion. You tell them you're overwhelmed. They look almost pleased. You achieve something meaningful. Their enthusiasm drops instantly. Your wins bore them, but your losses feed them. No healthy relationship works that way. Stoic philosophy teaches us to judge people not by what they claim to feel, but by the effect they consistently have on our spirit. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the soul becomes corrupted by those who distort our emotional balance. Anyone who grows stronger when you grow weaker is not a companion. They are a threat. So trust this inner warning. Your body recognizes malicious energy long before your mind admits it. And when someone enjoys your discomfort, they will eventually contribute to it. Stoic protocol. Pause. Step back when someone seems emotionally off during your struggles. Probe. Notice who celebrates your wins and who secretly enjoys your losses. Protect. Reduce emotional access. Your peace is not theirs to feed on, because anyone who is nourished by your pain will never protect your peace. 8. They mirror you to gain trust. Some people connect with you, some people understand you, but manipulators imitate you, because imitation is the fastest path to your trust. Mirroring is one of the most deceptively dangerous tactics an evil person uses. They study your personality, your humor, your values, your tastes, and then reflect them back to you with uncanny precision. You feel an instant connection, a strange sense of familiarity, as if you've known them forever. But that connection isn't real. It's engineered. They're not bonding with you, they're blending into you. At first, it seems flattering. They like the same music, share the same opinions, finish your sentences, and claim similar experiences. You think you found someone who finally gets you, but real compatibility develops naturally over time. Manufactured compatibility appears all at once, and anything that feels too perfect, too fast, deserves scrutiny. A common example. You mention a childhood fear. Suddenly they had the same one. You share a dream. Now it's their dream too. You express a value, and miraculously, they've lived by it for years. But as soon as they believe they've earned your trust, the imitation fades and the real personality shows. Controlling, cold, or self-serving. Stoic philosophy warns us to trust character, not charm. Epictetus taught that the wise person observes consistency, not performance. And mirroring is pure performance, a mask designed to bypass your defenses. If someone's identity shifts to match yours, they aren't connecting, they're positioning themselves. The truth is simple. People who mirror you want access, not intimacy. They want influence, not understanding. And the more you reveal, the more they absorb, until they know how to shape you. Stoic protocol. Pause. Slow down when someone feels instantly perfect. Probe. Watch how their personality behaves when you disagree. Protect. Reveal yourself gradually. Authenticity exposes imitation, because someone who mirrors your soul is rarely showing you theirs. 9. Unpredictable emotional explosions. Some people lose their temper. Evil people use their temper. Their rage isn't random, it's strategic. An emotionally unstable person doesn't explode because they're overwhelmed. They explode because it keeps everyone else unstable. Their unpredictable outbursts create an atmosphere where you feel tense, cautious, and constantly on edge. You adjust your tone, your timing, your words, even your personality just to avoid triggering them. And once you're adjusting yourself to protect their comfort, they've already taken control. Chaos becomes their method of dominance. At first, you might think they're just stressed or having a bad week. They may even justify their outbursts with excuses. That's just how I am. You know I have a temper, or everyone pushes me too far. But healthy people don't use fear to manage relationships. Healthy people repair the harm they cause. A person who benefits from your fear has no intention of changing. A common example, they explode over something small, a late text, a simple mistake, or a minor disagreement. The outburst shocks you, overwhelms you, and forces you into silence. Later, they act completely normal, pretending nothing happened, leaving you to process the emotional damage alone. This cycle trains you to adapt to their mood swings instead of trusting your own feelings. Stoic philosophy teaches that a person who cannot govern themselves will attempt to govern others. Marcus Aurelius warned that uncontrolled emotion is a sign of inner weakness, not strength. Someone who erupts unpredictably shows you who they truly are. A person whose anger is a tool, not a reaction. Trust this truth. Anyone who uses fear to control you will eventually destroy your peace. Stoic protocol. Pause. Don't react to their explosions. Step back emotionally and physically. Probe. Notice the pattern, what triggers it, when it appears, and what it achieves for them. Protect. Set firm boundaries. No conversation continues while you are being intimidated, because a person who thrives on chaos will never let you live in peace. 10. No apology. No accountability. Ever. Evil never apologizes. Evil never admits fault. Evil never says, I was wrong. Because accountability would destroy the image they work so hard to maintain. For this type of person, admitting fault feels like death. Their identity depends on being the victim, the misunderstood one, or the person who is always right. So whenever they hurt you, fail you, lie to you, or break a promise, they immediately twist reality to protect their ego. They don't reflect, they deflect. They don't repair, they reverse the blame. At first, you try having calm conversations. You try explaining how their actions affected you. You try using logic, empathy, and patience. But every attempt ends the same way. They dodge responsibility, rewrite the story, or accuse you of overreacting. With them, there is no resolution, only repetition. A common example. You bring up something hurtful they did. Instead of listening, they launch into a counterattack. You misunderstood. You're too sensitive. You always blame me. In their world, every conflict magically becomes your fault, and every apology required becomes your burden to carry. This pattern is not immaturity, it's manipulation. A person who refuses accountability is a person who will harm you repeatedly, without guilt and without growth. And the more you tolerate it, the more they learn they can get away with anything. Stoic philosophy teaches that character is revealed not in perfection, but in correction. Marcus Aurelius wrote that improvement requires owning our flaws honestly. Someone who cannot confront themselves will eventually make everyone around them pay the price for their denial. So pay attention to the person who never apologizes. It's not pride, it's pathology. It's a sign of someone who values control more than truth, ego more than connection, and dominance more than peace. Stoic protocol. Pause. Stop expecting closure from someone who fears accountability. Probe. Notice who grows when challenged and who attacks. Protect. Save your energy for people capable of responsibility, because a person who never admits fault will never stop causing harm. Evil doesn't just show up in big moments. It shows up in small patterns, repeated, quiet, and dangerous. The signs you learn today aren't random behaviors. They're consistent signals of someone whose presence drains your peace, weakens your confidence, and slowly erodes your clarity. Recognizing these patterns isn't about becoming suspicious of everyone. It's about giving yourself permission to trust what your instincts have been telling you all along. Stoic philosophy reminds us that you can't control another person's darkness, but you can control your boundaries, your reactions, and the truth you choose to stand on. If you see 2 or 3 signs, observe carefully. If you see 5 or 6, distance yourself without apology. This is your life, your clarity, your inner peace. Protect them with intention. Practice what you've learned. Watch the patterns, document what feels wrong, and choose people who lift your energy rather than drain it. Thank you for spending your time, awareness, and honesty here with me today. Your willingness to understand these signs already makes you stronger and safer. Like, share, and comment. I see the signs. Because recognizing the truth isn't fear. Recognizing the truth is protection.